talked a lot about technology and how could technology make us all better eventually in the future. But our next speaker is not here to tell us about technology. He is here to teach us how to know ourselves better and how to know the ones around us better in order to be more successful and more profitable in business. His name is Mr. Bert Martin Onemüller. He is a high-performance business coach, an author, and he is going to bring a human touch to this digital and technology event. So, a big, big round of applause for Mr. Onemüller. He brought his book. Thank you. Hi, Bert. I'll leave you to the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. While we check the technique, I want to say hello Romania, hello Bucharest, hello beautiful audience of GoTech World. How are you?
Come on, guys, show some excitement.
Come
on.
Are you good? Are you good to go? Are you brave enough for the next 30 minutes? Are you willing to go probably for a different way? Would you like to learn who you are? Skepticism. I am not coming here as somebody who knows anything better. No way, unfortunately. I'm only a human being, like you are. Sometimes I like to consider myself just being not such a good student at the University of Life. And I have this one now. This is great. So first of all, I have to go back one chart. First of all, what I want to say is, do not believe anything I tell you. This is easy, isn't it? Ask yourself, what touches your heart or soul? You know, I want to start with this question. What is the single most important element for your private and business success? Any ideas? If so, just scream it. What is the single most important element? Health? Your health is your wealth, right? A good one. Pardon? Attitude? Attitude is also very good. And I have another one. Being human, humanity. You know, you can say, oh, this old guy, he is talking a lot of bullshit. No way. You know what I want to do in the next minutes is I want to remind you who we really are. And I'm totally convinced that especially in this area of disruption, change, exponential differences, you know, companies are growing very, very fast. The change makers and established business collapses. In these times, we have to refocus on you as a human, because we will not master the challenges on the outside if we are not able to master the challenges which are inside. So welcome to my little speech, and I called it "The Future of Business is Human," and probably I can give you some relevant ideas how to make the next year your best year. Is there anybody in the room who wants to make next year a worse year? Who wants to make 2020 his best year? Okay, after my presentation, I want your honest feedback, whether you think I could deliver relevant content to this. So let's see. You know, when I think about presentations, I always think about, what can I do? What I would like to suggest is, like I said, do not believe anything. Try to calm down your mind. Because you know what? When I talk to neuroscientists, they have this beautiful sentence. They always said, Bert, do not believe anything you think. Who has voices in your head? Who has voices right now? You know who is speaking? Who speaks there? You know, I also have these voices, and I think, oh, probably they don't like me, or probably they think this is awful or stupid. You know, this is really the big question of trying not to believe everything you think. And especially when you are a little bit grown up, your mind is a result, a little bit of your genes, but mainly of your experiences, of your education. And society told you this is right and this is probably wrong. But to be honest, there is no right and wrong. You know, when I have a discussion with my wife or with one of our 4 children, I always ask my wife, ideally, honey, do you want to be right or do you want to have a happy life? Do you want to be right or do you want to have a successful life? Stop believing what your mind is telling you. Your mind is full of, you know, these past things, evolutionary hangovers, etc. My invitation for the next minutes, I come from a huge journey. 10 years ago, I started this journey. I traveled into the land of the neuroscientist. I traveled into the continents of the evolutionary biologists. And recently, I just came back from the land of positive psychology. Why did I do that? I had one major question. As a businessman, I asked myself, why do you tell me one thing? Or why do consumers say something, but normally they behave different? Did you experience that? You ask people, they say, I love your product, but nobody buys it. And I thought something went wrong or something is not totally understood. And I wanted to know from science, what can I learn about 3 questions? Why do we think the way we think? Why do we feel the way we feel? And why do people behave the way we behave? Are these relevant questions? Can I ask you, probably you show me your hand, who makes the world? Who makes your world? This sometimes beautiful world, sometimes so ugly world. Who makes it? Question, who experienced being in love? Raise your hands. Who experienced being in love? Only so few. The rest who was not ever in love, please speak to me after the presentation. You know, this is my side job. They call me Mr. Love. But, you know, ask yourself, in the times of being in love, how did you experience the world? In terms of colors? Was it gray or full of colors? In terms of energy? Low energy or high energy? In terms of obstacles, we take any obstacle, right? I experienced the same 30 or 40 years ago. And the second question I want to ask you, who experienced being stressed, being totally sad or even depressed? Show me your hand. Who had experience in this? Ask yourself, in a moment of being really down, knocked down, how is the world in terms of colors? Gray. Where is the energy? How is the energy? Very low, right? And you see only obstacles. You know what? I experienced the same. Couple of years ago. And one night I awoke during the night and I asked myself one single question. I asked myself, Bert, in the moment of total excitement and in the moment of total depression, did anything change in the outside world? Be true. Did anything change in the outside world, yes or no? Nothing. The world does not even bother whether you are in love or not. In a consequence, this is very, very important. In a consequence, this means who creates the world? You create the world. Your mind creates the world. And you know, and therefore I feel very privileged and happy to be here, because I want to invite you to keep that in mind. There is this beautiful sentence: when we are able to change our minds, we can change the world. When we are able to change our minds, we can change the entire world. You know what? I'm the living proof. I was always waiting for the outside, and I said, the world shall change and then I can change too. It does not work. And keep this little, probably very naive example in your mind. It's the question of what's happening when you are in love and what's happening when you are depressed. I will tell you in a second. First of all, I would like to ask a Belgian colleague to give you a little idea about the phenomena of, I would say, evolution. Where do we come from? Who are we? As a species, we are social creatures. We are social animals. I can tell you, we are more or less all the same. We are Homo sapiens. And as far as evolutionary biologists told us, we all come from Africa. I think we have an heritage of 200,000 years. And only since 10,000 years we do this farming and livestock, etc., etc. You know what's fascinating? In a certain way, we are all connected to each other. My friend, the biologist, always said, Bert, we are connected in the level of cousins. How does that sound? Here is not Bert Ohnemüller, here is your cousin. Welcome, family. Where have you been all the time? Every time you see somebody, you like it or not, keep that in mind. It might be your cousin. So, what I want to show you here in a little experiment, we wanted to prove whether the behavior of creatures depends on the way they are treated. Can you imagine that there is a difference on your behavior depending on the way you are treated? In this experiment, we did a little test with two capuchin monkeys. Capuchin monkeys are beautiful and very smart creatures. You know what they love most? Cucumber. For a piece of cucumber, they do anything. This is like in our life, our salary. But you know, in this little example, my professor friend said, what would happen if we treat the capuchin monkey differently? So the one gets cucumber and the other one gets something else. Probably a very delicious, very sweet, very tasty grape. Let's see what's happening. It's only a very brief video. Sound, please. Sound.
Can we get some sound for the video?
A little bit more sound.
It's again cucumber.
Did you get it, or shall I play it again? We do it again. Can we play with the sound? Because he's explaining what he's doing.
The other one getting grape, and you will see what happens. So she gives a rock to us, that's the task.
Thank you.
And we give her a piece of cucumber and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us. And that's what she does. And she gets a grape. And she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber. She tests the rock now against the wall. She needs to give it to us. And she gets cucumber again.
That's all I wanted to show you. Can you relate to that? Imagine you and your colleague, you were so content, so at least satisfied with your cucumber, unless somebody else get a grape. And this is exactly what I want to tell you. This is probably one little perspective, how we depend on evolutionary filters. Probably, you know, there are only capuchin monkeys, but probably even the monkeys have an understanding of fairness. So whenever you do something in treating people, first lesson I want to share is treat them equally. At least from their perspective. You know, in my own experience, I give you an example. I was a long-term client of my bank. I always feed it with cucumber, but I didn't expect so much, so I was quite happy with the cucumber. But one day, you know what they did? My bank, what they did? They offered 100 euros to a new customer if they open an account. You know what happened? I felt like this little capuchin monkey. I called my bank account guy and I said, listen, I know that you do not only feed cucumbers, you also feed grapes. Can I have a grape? You know what he replied? He said, no, you don't get a grape. You are already my customer. You know what a customer bear did? I left the bank. This is stupid. Don't do that. What it means is the most important currency, and this is so important. You know, what is the most important currency? Lei? Euros? Dollars? No. Simple. The most important currency is this: trust. Trust is like water. Without water, there is no growth. And you know, as a lecturer, I always like to tell my students, do not cheat. Because, you know, we always think about this great idea, 6-lane highway to happiness. I can tell you there is no highway to happiness. There is only a highway to hell. And therefore AC/DC made that song, Highway to Hell, right? And there is this rough road to happiness. But I think trust is the most important asset you have. Because you will get the business and you will get the job based on your competencies. But you will lose it, the business and the job, based on the character. So we need trust. And I like this idea. Trust is the one thing which changes anything. Only trust will change anything. And in high trust societies, you have high wealth. Without trust, it's difficult. Second takeout from evolutionary biology. You know what? A secret I like to share. The most successful brands, the most successful companies don't sell anything. Are you aware about that? They don't sell anything. They only use an evolutionary filter. And this system Homo sapiens is full of evolutionary filters. And these filters determine your perception of the world. And you know, they use a filter which is called the need to belong. The need to belong. If you can create a feeling of belonging, loyalty will be the result. Loyalty does not happen in the mind saying, oh, I received so many points on my payback or whatever, and now I'm loyal. You are not. Loyalty happens here. We are emotional creatures. And you know, this is fantastic. And why is loyalty happening? Because once I belong to my soccer team, to my nation, to my community, to my family, to my company, once you belong, your body rewards you with the release of a joy hormone which is called serotonin. You know, when I go into an Apple store, they say you to me. I feel younger, I feel somehow belonging, and then I buy. Ask yourself, can I create a belonging in my team? First in your team, second in your client base. Because, you know, when people belong, they can perform. When people belong, they are less sick. So important. What I realized, is this. I see this. Can you imagine? I'm coming from good old Frankfurt, Germany. Last year, 2018, the Germans have had 107 million sick days, 107 million sick days based on psychological problems because of labor conditions. Can you imagine that? 107 million sick days. We talk about burnout, depression, and all of that. What's going on? What's going on? We have a huge problem in the society, I think, because this costs 118 billion euros. And it doesn't make sense. And you know what? In my recent book, there is one chapter which I called, Your Work is Either Joyful or It Makes You Sick. And maybe it sounds a little bit, but you know, it's very, very important to understand what's going on in my body when I feel this. And I want to give you an idea. Stress is also coming from evolution. You know, stress is a perfect system for our survival. Imagine, let me say 100,000 years ago, our ancestrals in the Bucharest jungle were hunting. And suddenly there was a noise and they were a little bit shocked or stressed or full of fear because they thought this could be a threat. A saber-toothed tiger. And you know, we really had this threat. And what happened? In the moment you are stressed, your autonomous autopilot takes on the control. And you can only react, right? So stress normally, or fear, is determined by 3 stages. Freeze, is it a tiger? Fight, if it's too close, or flight. This is the only option you have. Who feels stress from time to time? Do you want to know how to get rid of the stress? In 2 minutes? Forever, I promise you, no more stress. Because stress is caused by biochemicals. Stress is caused by a biochemical which is called adrenaline and cortisol. On the heel of adrenaline there is cortisol. Cortisol is a drug. Who has drug experience in the room? Drug experiences? Thank you for volunteering and all the others who were smiling. No, you know what? Cortisol is a drug, great drug. It makes us survive. But it has some side effects. First of all, if you overdose with cortisol, you get really sick. Second, you cannot be empathic. You cannot be empathic. For instance, if Simon and myself, we would go for a run in the park, he falls suddenly, the first reaction of a human being, I help him up, right? Unless I'm stressed. You know, stress is very, very dangerous because stress tells your mind, leave him alone. Now it's only about surviving of myself. Surviving of myself. Next time you meet somebody who is very stressed, next time you meet somebody who is probably not very nice, be a little bit more, how can I say that? Be a little bit more open and don't think he's mad or she's stupid. Just think these individuals are in a bad biochemical condition. If you are in a bad biochemical condition, you cannot react differently. And now comes, if I may say that, finally I want to say now the message is what stress causes Stress is the biggest destroyer of happiness, and stress is the biggest destroyer of value. You see the left picture? This is a so-called fMRI. An fMRI scan means I can show you in which areas of the brain there is an activity. In the form of stress, the left picture, you see there is a lot of dark spaces. And the most important space which is dark is your so-called prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex here is responsible for your rational thinking, for your creativity, for everything you have. You don't have an access. Can you imagine that? Because this is exactly what's happening when you are stressed. It's like, I could not react. My body, I could only react. I could not respond. It's probably the better way to say it. Does it sound familiar with your experience of stress? So now the question is how to get rid of the stress. 2 minutes can change your life. If somebody does not want to change anything, probably it's time to go. If you want to change something, and you please probably trust a little bit in a little better, I would like to do a little interactive exercise. Would you like to do a little interactive exercise? Would you stand up, please, for a second? Just stand up, because this is very, very important. You have to experience. If you don't experience, you will never believe. You know, Confucius, this crazy guy from China, already 2,000 years ago, he said, experience and you will remember. So imagine, I told you, your body generates, your body is the producer of the biochemicals. When I'm in love, this is beautiful. When I'm depressed, this is different. Let's make a little test. It doesn't hurt, it's quite easy. The first exercise, just think about feeling very, very, very depressed. Feeling very, very, very sad. Let your shoulders hang. Let all the energy go. All the tension is gone. Sometimes I tell myself, my apologies for being born. Can you feel that? Let your head hang a little bit more. I want to let go all the energy. Are you really down? Very, I can say relaxed, or sometimes my children would say in a chill out mode. So if you are in this mode, tell yourself, I am a winner. I am success. I am the greatest. How does it feel? Not true, does it? Does it feel true? No. Your body says you are not a success, you are miserable. Second exercise, can you make a power pose? You know, in Bavaria they said put your belly inside and your breast outside. Make a power pose just for a second. A power pose. Imagine you are superheroes and tell yourself, I am a loser. I am such a loser. Is it right or wrong? Thank you. It's right or wrong? It's probably wrong. Your body says, no, you are not. And the third, probably it's important for people who are stressed. Just if you want to, can you just jump like this? Jump a little bit and tell yourself, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Is it true or not? It's not. Thank you. Thank you. You can have a seat. Just as an idea. A little funny exercise. Next time you feel miserable, hide yourself behind a cupboard and just jump a bit. Next time you are stressed, leave your working place. Go for a walk. Focus on your breathing. You are responsible for your perception. Nobody is responsible for the way you see the world. You have to become the master of your own emotions. And your body is always there. And you know, mainly, if I may say that, sometimes we are stressed in our relations with our loved ones, and especially in this moment, don't say anything. Because you have no access to your brain, don't say anything. If you do not believe what I told you, this is a lot of proof from Harvard University, etc. Your body chemicals can change within 2 minutes. 2 minutes in a low power position, increase the cortisol. 2 minutes in a powerful position, increase the testosterone. And this is really true. Look in nature, how birds or even blind sports people do this when they pass the target. So please keep in mind that the most important thing in our life is not the mind, but the emotions. And everything which is not emotional is worthless for the brain. So emotion means this is the energy which moves us. And to give you some ideas what it means for business, just a few observations. I believe that business has always to do with people, right? Even in a digital and global world, it's always the people. And secondly, I believe that the quality of my business depends on the quality of my relations, right? So think about the relation. And, I brought one example from the US. Who knows Hamdi Ulukaya? Hamdi Ulukaya is the founder of Kobani. And Kobani is the most successful, fastest growing milk or dairy brand in the US. He started 2005 with nothing. He has more than 1 billion turnover in dollars right now, and he's the so-called anti-CEO. He's not driven by fact sheets only or by figures. He's driven by culture. And again, this is so important for your success. Even in the digital world, it's always culture first. And this statement is from an American guru. He once said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So it's always, when you can take care, again, for the relations, for the belonging, success will follow. And the idea I learned from Hamdi is we have to go from the classical terms of return on investment, ROI, to a ROK approach. And the ROK approach means return on kindness. Think about trust. Think about your personal relationship. Do you think you get the results you have because of the mind or of the feeling? And keep that little sentence, please, in mind. People, you will probably easily forget what I have told you, but probably you will not forget how I made you feel. And I want to ask you to think about probably a crazy idea. Today is the 3rd of October 2019, right? By the way, we celebrate 30th year of reunification of Germany, which is a big thing because, my children are not aware that we were separated. And I said, there was a wall and they were shooting to each other. It's amazing, it's 30 years ago. But this is not the main thing. The 3rd of October 2019 can be a very special day for you. Think about the following. Why not saying, okay, from now on, I commit myself to deliver positive feelings. Also, you are treated bad. Deliver positive feeling. What I would like to guarantee is your success in your relations, in business, and in private life. Become the one who says most of the times, thank you and please. Your salary will increase, your turnover will increase, everything will increase because we are social creatures. People always will remember how you made them feel. And again, why is the 3rd of October 2019 such an important day? Because you met Bert. And second, it's the first day from the rest of our lives. You can make a change right now. Viktor Frankl, who had big sufferings in the concentration camp of the Nazis, he once said, if you cannot change a circumstance, you can change your perception about the circumstance. And this is what I want to tell you in the last few charts, if you allow me. You know, this is the leadership lesson I learned from Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, there is this song, do you remember it? If you want to make a change, start with a woman or with a man in the mirror. If you want to make a change, start with a woman or with a man in the mirror. You are the captains of your own ship. By the way, do we have a birthday here? Somebody who has birthday today? 3rd of October? 2nd? 2nd October birthday? 1st of October? September? Okay, this man is the man. Because I brought a little present for you, especially for you, because I think this is my book and I love to sign it if you want to, and I look forward to your feedback. This is just a little bit, again, it's not only marketing. You know what I learned in my, I don't know, little life? Life is not about taking, it's about giving. And when you give, you will receive. And you know what? When you think about yourself, another little task. The 2 strongest words in your entire life are the words, I am. I am. Ask yourself, what follows your I am? I am strong, I'm smart, I'm good looking, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, I'm a loser, I'm a winner. You know what? This is the science of, I don't know, of life probably. What follows your I am will find you. So again, today is probably a chance to reconsider your I am. And to finish with this idea of positive psychology, you know, they cheated me. They cheated on me. When I stepped into business, you know what they told me? They said, Bert, you have to be successful in order to become happy. And success for guys, what does it mean? Porsche, cars, money. I had all that. But it doesn't feel like a success. My children were already asleep and my wife said, I can put something in the microwave if you are still hungry. When I came home very late, I said, I'm a hero. I don't want to have microwave stuff. You know what? It's totally wrong. It's not important what you have. It's important who you are. And this is an insight from positive psychology. Joy, your happiness, is a precondition for success. Do what you do because you are passionate about it. Do what you do because you like it. And you know what? You would agree that, you know, if you do that, it has an impact on health, on friends, etc., etc. And it's not shaka, positive thinking. It's coming from positive thinking to positive feeling. You have to feel it in order to achieve it. My friend Dalai Lama made a perfect statement, and I probably may read it because it's beautiful and it touched my heart every time I read it. He says we need more compassion. Compassion in a society, compassion in business. Compassion reduces our fear. Compassion boosts our confidence because we know we are not alone. Compassion opens us to an inner strength. You know, you are so strong. And therefore I'm called, by the way, high potential and high performance business coach, because it's about unlocking what's inside. Reduce distrust. It opens us to others. It brings us a sense of connection with them and a sense of purpose and meaning in life. Isn't it beautiful? So start being more compassionate. And with this I want to tell you, this is my little mission. Welcome to the Decade of Humanity. The Decade of Humanity is a mission. And I would love to invite you to come along in this beautiful mission. A world which is determined by people who love what they do and by corporations and companies who are role models for the society. I call this a value-based business, and I know it's a long way to go. Question to our host. May I share one more slide?
Yeah, of course.
One
Maybe
more?
we can take one question from the audience.
Yeah, afterwards we take a question. I want to give you one more little practical insight. How you can change your emotions like that. Do you want to know it? Change the emotion like that. Here it is. When I talked about Mr. Love, probably I could ask for a volunteer, but I want to share an insight, which is very important. We as human beings, we need 4 hugs a day. We need 4 hugs a day to survive. We need 8 hugs a day to grow. How many hugs have you got today? 0? I'm here now. So everybody who needs and wants a hug, you can hug me, you can hug your neighbor, you can hug your family, and when you start hugging, you change the life of somebody who is hugged, and you change your own life. Probably, if I may leave you with this little exercise, probably while we do the questions, you can start hugging. Scared? Is it not? You know, when I talked about this in Iran, I could understand that they did not jump on the chairs, but this is really true. 4 hugs a day at least. Thank you. Let's connect on LinkedIn and all the social media. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bert, for the inspirational talk.
Thank you for...
And for empowering everyone in this room. Thank you. It was a pleasure being on the same stage with you. Now, if
likewise.
we have any questions for Bert, yeah? Come on, I bet you guys have questions.
No, they
You're
don't.
raising your hands all the time. You gotta ask something now.
Or you didn't like it, right? Now I feel very miserable.
I think they liked it a lot, but they're just shy.
There is a question. There is a
Oh, we
question.
have a question there. Okay. We're getting you the microphone. Yeah.
It's hot inside. I can tell you. I'm sweating.
Hi, Bert.
Hi.
How did you decide to become a writer and a motivational speaker? And what did you do before that? What was your life about?
A very good question. Very good question. Very good. I can show you this in a second. And this is what I skipped. Oh, can I have the screen again? If possible, you know what I am? I am a father. I am a husband. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not so much a motivational speaker. I wanted to survive. One day I woke up and I asked myself, what kind of idea about the world do I deliver to my own children? And I asked myself, do they believe that this is a nice world, a beautiful world, or is it an evil world? And you know what I realized after working 20 years in family therapy? If parents are not happy, your children think and believe they are the reason. So your duty is your own happiness. And this, you know, started all this. And, you know, in business, I grew up in a fast-moving consumer good industry. I built my own agency. When I was in the 30s, I had 30 people, 1,000 freelancers. I destroyed all my values. You know how I did it? I didn't have any clue about this neuroscience and evolutionary shit. You know what I did? I went into my own office with a bad mood. I was not aware that emotions are universal. Emotions are universal. Everybody in this planet understands emotions, and they are very contagious. So I destroyed a lot of value with my negative emotion. If you have a negative emotion, keep away from people. But thank you for asking.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to ask a question?
Or a hug?
Or does anyone want a hug from Bert or from me? I don't know.
Yeah, from us, from us.
Okay. No. Yes? Yeah, okay, let's go. We have a question there. If you could raise your hand again so you could get the mic to you. Perfect.
Hi, Bert. Thank you.
Hi.
I have a question. How long did it take for you to change your mindset? Because it's really hard to work with yourself. I guess it's the hardest thing. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a very relevant question because everything sounds so easy. You know, I am the living proof. And this is what I said in the beginning, that, you know, it's tough. Because I'm an Aquarius, you know, every 2 hours I'm excited, 2 hours later I'm depressed and I'm excited again. And sometimes I believe what I think, it is a lifelong journey. And I call this journey the journey for heroes. A lot of people, you know, what I did 40 years, I said, you know what? I could have become a good man. I could have become a good man, but the circumstances. Now I am like I am. So I was dependent on the outside. And I felt like a victim. One day, probably 20 years ago, I changed my mind and I told myself, we are not the result of the circumstance. We are always the result of our own decisions. Take responsibility means become responsive. Ask yourself, what do you want from life? And start with one little step at a time. One little step at a time. One little step at a time. And you know what helped me? Hollywood helped me. The heroes. I grew up with Rocky Balboa, and I learned from Rocky Balboa, it's not a question how hard you can hit. It's always the question how hard life hits you in the face, but you stand up again. This is my message. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice. So, maybe one last question.
Thank you.
Anyone? 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 Okay, that's it. Bert, thank you. You were amazing.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another big round of applause for Bert Müller, everyone. Thank you very much.
I would hug you, but I'm so sweaty.
Thank you. It's okay. I'll find you around here. I'll get a hug.